This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion. I tell my friends in China and Vietnam, at least their government doesn't pretend. My friends in China and Vietnam know where their government stands. They know what the deal is. Unfortunately, my home country right now, America, pretends. It pretends that there are certain basic civil liberties. It pretends that you have a right to privacy. I'm reading an article today written by Rand Paul called Big Brother is Really Watching Us. Subtitle, Monitoring Hundreds of Millions of Phone Records is an Extraordinary Invasion of Privacy. It sure is an extraordinary invasion of privacy. Sadly, though, it doesn't really appear people care. I have a theory about why people don't care, and I'll come to that in a second. But at the end of Rand Paul's op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, he says, the administration has responded to the public uproar by simply claiming that it is allowed to have unlimited access to all Americans' private information. This response is a clear indication that the president views our Constitution and the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects as null and void. Well, I would point out that most people probably don't know what is in the Constitution today, so I'm not really sure that Senator Paul's point really goes far because most people don't know what it is. His last paragraph of his op-ed, he says, if this is the new normal in America, then Big Brother certainly is watching, and it's not hyperbolic or extreme to say so. Nor is it unreasonable to fear which parts of the Constitution this government will next consider negotiable or negligible. So, if we are in a situation of chaos, and I think that revelation that the United States government is basically spying on everybody, it says that things are extremely unpredictable. And in my world, the trend-following world, a world where you make money from the chaos, from the unpredictable. Well, I think the NSA record spying extravaganza that's currently going on right now is just another fantastic example as to why you can't trust the system. Look, plenty of people, millions of people in America and other countries around the world with their retirement programs, if they even exist, have been told for years and years and years, well, you got Social Security. No, Social Security is a joke. It doesn't even beat inflation. You lose money in Social Security. But the masses, through propaganda, have come to believe that Social Security actually is secure. Now, forget whether or not it's going to be solvent. People actually think that they're going to get money from it that's worth something. They're just not. You know, Jim Rogers made the point in my film, Broke the New American Dream, where he said, look, they're going to get dollars back, but it's going to be worthless dollars. The amount's going to be so small. So you're left with trusting the system. Now, let's look at some other ways the system has not helped people when it comes to money and markets in the last 15 years. Well, interest rates are at zero. That means any money that you've saved that you thought you could get interest income off is gone. I remember my CPA when I first started my business and I was broke, first starting out. And he said to me, look, here's the objective most business people will say. If you can get $2 million free and clear in the bank, then you will get, if interest rates are 4 to 6% or whatnot, you will get a nice amount of money that'll cover living expenses. So that's, he was making the case that that's the goal, to find that couple $1 million free and clear. Hey, a couple $1 million free and clear, even 10 million free and clear, interest income doesn't exist. So once again, you have a system out there that is looking through and tracking everything you do. Who knows what they're going to do with that information? Yes, it is identical to the book 1984. It absolutely is identical. Now, a lot of people, I actually saw this on my Facebook. Some people say, I don't care. I don't care if you're spying on me. I think Social Security is great. I don't care if interest rates are low. It is the Stockholm Syndrome. It's the idea that these people are falling in love with their captors. They're falling in love with their captors. The captors that say, it's okay. It's okay that we spy on you. It's okay that we know everything about you. It's okay that maybe we're hiding little cameras in new houses so we can watch you and your wife get it on. Who knows what's next? I mean, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist, but everyone knows what the technology is, and every one of us knows that basically we're going to be tracked every which way to Sunday. Once again, it is what it is, but I think it speaks more than anything that we're going to continue to have chaos. Chaos equals market moves that can't be predicted. So what do you do? How do you make money when you can't trust who's spying on you? You can't trust Social Security or retirement programs. You can't trust what the Federal Reserve is going to do next with the value of your holdings. Well, you really have to be in an absolute return mindset. You have to be in a mindset of like, hey, I need to figure out a way to make lots of money because who knows what's going to happen. So the idea of hanging on and trying to get some small percentage of money that the market gives you, just to go for the averages, mimic the index. I mean, you're just going to be by definition average, and it's not enough. So in the midst of all this chaos, trend following is a fantastic opportunity. So that's the foundation of where I want to go right now. And so an associate of mine, a guy named Dan Collins, and he's going to be on the podcast soon, was with Futures Magazine for over a decade. And Dan, like myself, has had access to a lot of interesting people, learned a lot, and reported on just about everything under the sun that's occurred in the quote CTA managed futures trend following space. He's been there in the middle of all of it. And so we were planning to have this podcast episode, and he sent me an article that he wrote, and it was called CTA's Trend Following is What They Do. And he was commenting off an article he had seen June 5th in the Financial Times called Quant Hedge Funds Hit by U.S. Bonds Sell-Off. And this article is written by Sam Jones of the Financial Times. And it starts with some of the world's biggest quant funds have suffered steep losses in the past 2 weeks following the sell-off in global bond markets. So-called CTAs, which use computer models to automatically spot and ride market trends, were caught out as investors anticipated an end to the Federal Reserve's measures to stimulate the U.S. economy, triggering a global rout in fixed income investments. So anyways, he doesn't quite seem to understand that trend following traders have losing months. So he was sitting around with no real understanding of what trend following is, probably never looked at a trend following track record. You can look at a trend following track record. It could be minus 5% one month, plus 6% the next month, minus 4%, minus 3%, minus 2%, plus 15%. So this reporter, now, once again, we're in the context of chaos. We're in the context of confusion. We're in the context of government spying. We're in the context of the Federal Reserve manipulating everyone's account. Now, let's get to another leg of manipulation. The leg of manipulation is the media. Now, I don't know if this guy is manipulating the message because he's an idiot, he's ignorant, or he's doing it on purpose. I don't know. I don't know. But I've seen this over the last 15 years. Then whenever there's a down month in trend following, the reporters just, it's like, oh, I can make a headline out of that. And instead of looking at this over the long horizon, how much absolute money trend following traders make, these reporters get caught up in the day-to-day machinations, the month-to-month machinations. This excites them. They get excited about this. Now, who are these reporters? Now, I don't know who this guy, what's his name again? It's how good my memory is. Sam Jones. I mean, Sam Jones, if I Googled him, I used to do this with Yahoo, and I would comment. I'd see these articles on Yahoo or other places, CBS Market Watch, and every time I'd see one of these articles, I'd go in and I'd find out who wrote the article. And invariably, it was a 26-year-old kid with 10 Twitter followers that had just got out of Columbia Journalism School. Literally, that's who writes these things. Now, I've got a nice megaphone. Don't get me wrong. I like the Mike Covel megaphone. I like being able to reach people that I reach. However, I don't reach as many people as the Financial Times. So I'm constantly up in a fight against reporters that are part of this system, part of perpetuating the idea that you can't beat the market, that just trust everything. You'll be taken care of. And then so they write these articles. If they see a negative month in trend following performance, I really think they write these articles just to keep the timid, mild, meek souls out there that are afraid to try something new. They write these articles to scare them away. And if somebody doesn't investigate, they're, oh, I don't know, that style of trading, it lost 4% in a month. I think I'm going to go back to my zero interest rate policy and see how much money I can make in my money market account, which is zero. Yeah, it's just kind of odd. The whole thing's odd. I mean, we've reached this situation where people are afraid to think. They just want to trust. They want to trust the man behind the curtain will take care of them. It's downright frightening. But here's the positive thing. I don't care about the masses that are frightened. They're going to stay frightened. I want to help the like-minded people like me to either see it clearly for the first time and get motivated, or just to be reinforced. Maybe you're sitting home alone or whatnot, and you're like, God, I just need someone to tell me it's okay that I'm looking at this whole scenario and saying, gosh, this is nuts. These reporters are clearly have got an agenda. You know, the governments have got an agenda. They're spying on me. They're creating chaos. The Federal Reserve has got an agenda. Social Security is a joke. So what can I do? What can I do to make money in this crazy, chaotic, who knows what's going to happen next environment? This is what I do. I've laid the case out in 4 books and a film, actually 5 books and a film. And there's another one coming. I'm not sure where it's really going yet. I've got a ton of notes that I've saved, and I'm kind of pulling it together. Kind of a fun process, right at the early process of composing something, of pulling it all together and saying, where is this going exactly? So I don't know where all of this is going. I'm not here to be the fake forecaster that's going to try and tell you what's going to happen next. But I am telling you, whether it's the spying scandals with the NSA, Social Security being dead, zero interest rate policy, other Fed manipulations, index investing, you can't afford to do any of that. I mean, you could afford to do that if you want to be average. But if you want to have an above average life, you have to figure out a way to make absolute returns. Absolute returns means you're not worried about what your neighbor's doing. All you're trying to do is figure out how can you make the most money possible without blowing out along the way. And that's really what it comes down to. I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.